Story 1. I've been an assistant manager at the Regency Cinema for about 4 years now. I started working here during college as an usher, just trying to make some extra money for textbooks and rent. After I graduated with my business degree, I couldn't find anything in my field right away, so I stayed on and worked my way up. The pay is decent now, and honestly, I love movies, so it's not a bad gig while I keep looking for something better. My main responsibilities include handling customer complaints, managing staff schedules, making sure the theaters are clean, and dealing with any disturbances during shows. Most of the time, it's pretty straightforward. Someone spills a drink, a projector acts up, or teenagers get too loud. We handle it, and everyone goes back to enjoying their movie. We upgraded our ticketing system about 6 months ago to assigned seating. Customers pick their exact seats when they buy tickets online or at the box office, and those seats show up on their tickets with a row and seat number clearly printed. It eliminated a lot of the chaos of people rushing to get good seats, and most customers love it. But every now and then, someone doesn't understand how it works or just refuses to accept it. This incident happened on a Saturday night during the opening weekend of a big action movie. The theater was completely sold out, every seat accounted for. I was doing my usual rounds, checking that everything was running smoothly, when one of our ushers came running up to me looking panicked. "Usher, we have a situation in Theater 7. A woman is screaming at a family and refusing to move." Me, what's going on? Usher, she's claiming they're in her seats, but I checked their tickets, and they're right where they're supposed to be. She won't listen to me. I followed him to Theater 7. The previews had just ended and the movie was starting. I could hear the yelling before I even entered the theater. A woman was standing in the aisle, blocking everyone's view, screaming at a family of 4 sitting in the middle section. "Karen, those are my seats. I always sit there. You need to move right now." "Father, ma'am, these are our assigned seats. See? Row G, seats 12 through 15. He held up his phone showing his digital tickets. The seat numbers were right there on the screen. "Karen, I don't care what your ticket says. I've been coming to this theater for 10 years, and I always sit in those exact seats. They're mine." Me, "Excuse me, ma'am. I'm the assistant manager. Can I help resolve this?" Karen, "Yes. Tell these people to get out of my seats." Me, "Ma'am, we have assigned seating now. These folks have tickets for these specific seats. Can I see your ticket, please?" She shoved her phone in my face. I looked at her digital ticket. Row K, seats 18 and 19. Completely different seats, 5 rows back and on the other side of the theater. Me, "Ma'am, your seats are in row K, seats 18 and 19. Right over there." I pointed to where her actual seats were. Karen, "No, those seats have a terrible view. I want these seats. I always sit here." Me, "I understand you have a preference, but these seats are already taken by people who purchased them. Your assigned seats are waiting for you in row K." Karen, "This is unacceptable. I've been a loyal customer for years. I demand you move these people." Mother, "We bought these tickets 3 days ago specifically for these seats. We're not moving." Karen, "Shut up. Nobody asked you. This is between me and management." The movie had started now and people were getting annoyed. Someone from the back yelled for her to sit down or leave. Me, "Ma'am, you need to either go to your assigned seats or I'll have to ask you to leave the theater." Karen, "I'm not going anywhere. If anyone's leaving, it's them." She pointed at the family. Me, "That's not going to happen. Please make a choice or I'll have to call security." Karen, "Call them. They'll agree with me. I'm a paying customer." Me, "So is everyone else in this theater, and you're ruining their experience." I radioed for security. 2 of our security guards arrived within a couple of minutes. By this point, Karen had sat down in the aisle right next to the family's seats, refusing to move. Security guard, "Ma'am, you need to come with us." Karen, "I'm not going anywhere. I paid for a ticket, and I'm watching this movie." Security guard, "You can watch it from your assigned seat, or you can leave. Those are your options." Karen, "No, I'm staying right here." People in the theater were booing now. Someone threw popcorn at her. The family looked miserable, their whole night ruined by this woman's tantrum. "Me, ma'am, this is your last chance. Move to your seat, or you'll be removed and banned from this theater." "Karen, you can't ban me. I'll sue. I'll call corporate. I'll leave such bad reviews that this place will shut down." "Security guard, okay? That's it. Let's go." The two security guards each took one of her arms and started lifting her up. She went completely limp, making herself dead weight. "Karen, this is assault. You're attacking me. Someone film this." "Security guard, we're escorting you out for disturbing other customers and trespassing after being asked to leave." They started dragging her up the aisle. She was screaming the entire way, calling everyone names, threatening lawsuits, and yelling about how she'd been a customer for years. "Karen, you'll regret this. I know people. I'll have your jobs. This theater will be mine when I'm done suing you." As they dragged her past me, she tried to kick in my direction, but missed. They got her out to the lobby, and I stayed behind to apologize to the theater, especially the family. I'm so sorry about that. Folks, we'll be issuing refunds or passes for another showing to anyone who wants one. The family was grateful, but said they'd just like to watch the movie they came for. Most people settled back down once she was gone, though we'd missed about 10 minutes of the film because of the disruption. Out in the lobby, Karen was still screaming, while security called the police. She'd knocked over a display of candy and tried to run back toward the theaters twice. When the police arrived, she told them we'd assaulted her and stolen her seats. The officers looked at her ticket, talked to me and security, and reviewed our security footage. They could see her sitting in the aisle refusing to move, see her going limp when security tried to escort her out, and see her knocking over the candy display. Police officer: "Ma'am, you're going to be issued a citation for disorderly conduct and trespassing. You need to leave this property immediately." "Karen, what about my movie? I paid for that." Police officer: "You forfeited that when you refused to follow the rules and disrupted everyone else." She started crying then, saying it wasn't fair and that we'd ruined her night. The officers escorted her to her car and watched her drive away. My manager reviewed everything the next day and officially banned her from all our locations. She tried calling corporate to complain, but they backed our decision after seeing the security footage. She left 1-star reviews on every site she could find, ranting about how we let people steal seats and assault innocent customers. The family came back the following week and told me they appreciated how we handled it. The father said his kids still talk about the crazy lady who got dragged out of the movie theater. All because she couldn't accept that assigned seating means you sit in your assigned seat. Story 2. I've been the vice principal at the high school for 12 years now. I started as a history teacher right out of college, young and idealistic, thinking I'd change the world one classroom at a time. After 10 years of teaching, I moved into administration. It wasn't the dream, but someone had to handle the logistics, the discipline issues, the parent complaints. Graduation ceremonies fell under my responsibilities. People don't realize how much work goes into graduation. Months of planning, coordinating with hundreds of families, arranging the venue, organizing the processional, timing every speech and musical number, and the names, getting pronunciation right for every single graduate, practicing with the principal for hours. We take it seriously because we know this moment matters to these kids. This year's class had 247 graduates. I checked the alphabetical list probably 50 times, made sure every name was spelled correctly, marked the tricky pronunciations. The ceremony was scheduled for 2 hours. Everything was planned down to the minute. The morning of graduation, I got an email. A parent demanding her son's name be called first because he'd overcome significant challenges to graduate. I replied politely, explaining that we called names alphabetically to be fair to everyone. She didn't respond, so I assumed that was the end of it. The ceremony started perfectly. The processional music played, graduates filed in wearing their caps and gowns, proud families filming every second. The principal gave her speech about the future and endless possibilities. The valedictorian spoke about resilience. Everything was going exactly as planned. Then we started calling names. The principal stood at the podium with the list. I was stage left, managing the flow of students crossing to receive their diplomas. Principal, our first graduate, graduating with honors. Karen, stop. A woman stood up in the middle section, 5 rows back. People turned to look. Karen, you're doing this wrong. My son needs to be called first. Principal, ma'am, we're calling names alphabetically. If you could please sit down. Karen, no, my son has worked harder than any of these kids. He deserves to go first. Security was already moving toward her. I spoke quietly into my radio, telling them to handle it carefully. The last thing we needed was a scene. Karen, he has a learning disability. Do you know how much effort it took for him to get here? He should be recognized first. Principal, all of our graduates have worked hard. Please sit down so we can continue. Karen, this is discrimination. You're punishing him for his disability. Security reached her row. She pushed past them and ran down the aisle toward the stage. Parents gasped. Graduates were standing up, trying to see what was happening. I moved to intercept her at the stage stairs, but she was faster than I expected. She dodged around me and ran straight for the podium. Karen, if you won't do it right, I will. She shoved the principal aside and grabbed the microphone. Karen, my son is graduating first. He's the real success story here, not these kids who had everything handed to them. The principal tried to pull her away from the mic. I ran over to help. Karen was shouting over us. Karen, my son's name is... I managed to get between her and the microphone just as security reached the stage. It took 3 of us to pull her away. She was screaming the entire time about discrimination and lawsuits. They escorted her out through the side exit. Her voice echoed through the auditorium even as the doors closed. The entire venue was silent. 247 graduates and their families just staring at the empty stage. The principal straightened her dress, returned to the podium, and cleared her throat. Principal, my apologies for that interruption. Let's continue celebrating our graduates. She started reading names again. When we got to Karen's son, about halfway through the alphabet, he walked across the stage with his head down, face bright red. The poor kid looked like he wanted to disappear. Some people clapped for him, but it was awkward. Everyone knew. Karen was banned from school property and charged with disorderly conduct. Her son graduated, but she wasn't there to see it. He'd asked security to make sure she couldn't come back in. Story 3. I've been working at Sweet Dreams Bakery for about 5 years now. I started as a cake decorator's assistant right after finishing pastry school, and now I'm the head cake designer. It's my dream job, honestly. I get to create beautiful cakes for people's most important moments, from birthdays to anniversaries to weddings. Wedding cakes are my specialty. There's something magical about being part of someone's big day, even if it's just through the cake. The bakery is small, family-owned, and we take pride in our custom work. Each wedding cake is specifically designed for the couple who ordered it. We do consultations, tastings, sketch designs, and spend hours making sure every detail is perfect. Our wedding cakes book up months in advance, especially during wedding season. This incident happened on a Friday afternoon. I was in the back putting finishing touches on a 3-tier wedding cake that had taken me 2 days to complete. It was gorgeous, covered in delicate sugar flowers that I'd handmade, with intricate piping work along each tier. The couple getting married on Sunday had ordered it 3 months ago, came in for 2 tastings, and approved every detail of the design. I was just adding the final sugar roses when my coworker came running into the kitchen looking stressed. Coworker, there's a woman out front demanding to speak to whoever made the wedding cake in the display window. Me, that's the Henderson cake. What does she want? Coworker, I think you need to come talk to her yourself. I washed my hands and headed out front. There was a woman standing at the counter, arms crossed, tapping her foot impatiently. She looked me up and down when I approached. Me, hi, I'm the cake designer. How can I help you? Karen, that wedding cake in the window. I want it. Me, that cake is for a wedding this Sunday. It's already been purchased and paid for. But I'd be happy to discuss creating a custom cake for you. When is your event? Karen, my daughter's wedding is in 2 weeks, and that cake is perfect. I want that exact cake. Me, I can definitely recreate that design for you. Let me get the order form, and we can discuss details and pricing. Karen, no, you're not understanding me. I want that cake. The one that's already made. Me, ma'am, that cake belongs to another couple. They ordered it months ago. I can make you an identical one for your daughter's wedding. Karen, why should I have to wait? That cake is just sitting there. Give it to me and make another one for those other people. Me, because they ordered it first. They've already paid for it. It's their cake. Karen, but my daughter is getting married. This is her special day. She deserves the best. Me, I'm sure your daughter is lovely, but this cake is spoken for. I can have a new one ready for your daughter's wedding if you place an order today. Karen, you don't understand. My daughter is prettier than whoever ordered that cake. She deserves it more. Have you seen her? She could be a model. I just stared at her for a moment, trying to process what she'd just said. Me, ma'am, that's not how this works. We don't redistribute cakes based on how attractive the bride is. That couple ordered and paid for that specific cake. Karen, this is discrimination. You're punishing my beautiful daughter. Me, nobody is being punished. I'm offering to make your daughter her own custom cake. That's literally my job. Karen, I don't want a copy. I want the original. That cake has better energy. It was made first, so it's superior. My coworker was behind me trying not to laugh. I was losing patience. Me, the answer is no. That cake is not available. Would you like to order a custom cake or not? Karen, fine. If I can't have the cake, nobody can. Before I could react, she reached across the counter and grabbed a tray of cupcakes we had displayed. There were about 24 cupcakes, each one carefully decorated with buttercream flowers. She started smashing them onto the counter, one by one, squishing the frosting everywhere. Me, stop. What are you doing? Karen, if my daughter can't have the best, then nobody gets anything. She was grinding cupcakes into the counter, smearing frosting across the glass display case, throwing cake chunks on the floor. My coworker grabbed the phone and called the police while I tried to pull the cupcake tray away from her. Me, those cupcakes cost $30 each. Stop destroying our property. Karen, I don't care. You ruined my daughter's wedding. She grabbed another tray, this one filled with cookies, and swept her arm across it, sending cookies flying everywhere. Buttercream and cake crumbs were all over the counter, the floor, even on the walls. Owner, what is going on out here? My boss, the bakery owner, came out from the office and saw the destruction. Karen, your employee refused to give me the cake I wanted. She's ruining my daughter's wedding. Owner, get away from my counter right now, or I'm having you arrested. Karen grabbed one more cupcake and threw it at the window display, where it splattered against the glass right next to the wedding cake. Owner, that's it. You need to leave immediately. The police arrived within minutes. They found her still ranting about how her daughter deserved the cake more than the couple who'd actually ordered it. There was frosting everywhere, dozens of destroyed cupcakes and cookies, and she had buttercream smeared all over her hands and clothes. Police officer, ma'am, you're being charged with vandalism and disorderly conduct. Karen, they started it. They wouldn't give me what I wanted. Police officer, they don't have to. You destroyed their property. She was arrested right there in the bakery. The damage came to over $800 in destroyed products, plus the cost of cleaning and replacing the display case glass that had cracked when she threw the cupcake at it. The couple whose wedding cake she tried to take came by the next day after hearing what happened. They were horrified and apologized even though it wasn't their fault. I assured them their cake was perfect and untouched. Karen ended up with a criminal record and a court order to pay restitution to the bakery. Her daughter apparently was mortified and ended up ordering her wedding cake from a grocery store because she was too embarrassed to go to any real bakery after what her mother did. All because she thought being pretty entitled someone to steal another couple's wedding cake. Story 4. I'm a stay-at-home parent to my 6-year-old, and we go to our local park almost every afternoon after school. It's become part of our routine. My kid gets to burn off energy. I get to sit on a bench and decompress from the day, and we both enjoy the fresh air. The park is pretty popular, especially on nice days, but it's big enough that there's usually room for everyone. Yesterday was beautiful weather, so the playground was packed. Kids were running around, parents were chatting, and everyone seemed to be having a good time. My kid had been playing on the climbing structure for a while, and then decided they wanted to swing. There are only 4 swings, and all of them were occupied, but that's normal. We've taught our kid that sometimes you have to wait your turn, so we walked over to the swing set and got in line behind 2 other kids who were also waiting. The kids on the swings had probably been there for about 5 minutes when this woman showed up pushing a stroller. Her baby couldn't have been more than a year old, way too young for the regular swings. These were the big kid swings, not the bucket seats for toddlers. But she parked her stroller right in front of the swings and started looking around like she was expecting something to happen. After a moment, she cleared her throat loudly. When nobody responded, she did it again, even louder. "Karen, excuse me, kids, my baby needs a swing." One of the kids on the swings, maybe 7 or 8 years old, looked over at her confused but kept swinging. The other kids waiting in line looked at each other, not sure what was happening. "My kid, but there's a line. We're all waiting." "Karen, I don't care about the line. My baby has been waiting to swing all day, and these kids have been on here forever." Actually, they've only been swinging for a few minutes. And your baby is too young for these swings anyway. The toddler swings are over there." I pointed to the other side of the playground where there were 2 bucket swings specifically designed for babies and toddlers. Both of them were empty. "Karen, those swings are too far away. I want my baby on these swings." "These swings aren't safe for a baby that young. That's why they have the special ones." "Karen, don't tell me how to parent my child. I know what's safe for my baby." She turned back to the kids on the swings and raised her voice. "Karen, you kids need to get off right now. You've had your turn." One of the other parents, a dad who'd been pushing his kid on the swings, stepped forward. "Other parent, ma'am, the kids will get off when they're ready. There's a line, and everyone's waiting their turn." "Karen, my baby deserves these swings more than these spoiled brats." Other parent, don't call the kids names. Everyone here follows the same rules. Wait your turn. "Karen, I'm not waiting. My baby needs to swing now." She actually started walking toward one of the swings where a girl, maybe 8 years old, was swinging peacefully. The girl's mother jumped up from her bench. "Girl's mother, stay away from my daughter." But Karen ignored her. She walked right up to the swing, and as it came forward, she grabbed the chain and jerked it to a stop. The little girl yelped in surprise. "Girl, hey, Karen, get off. My baby needs this swing." "Girl's mother, let go of that swing right now." The little girl looked terrified but didn't move. She just held onto the chains tightly. Karen reached out and actually put her hands on the girl's shoulders, trying to physically push her out of the seat. That's when several things happened at once. The girl's mother ran over and shoved Karen away from her daughter. I pulled out my phone and started recording. The other parent who'd spoken up earlier stepped between Karen and the swing set, and at least 3 other parents converged on the scene. "Girl's mother, do not touch my child." "Karen, she wouldn't get off. My baby needs that swing." "I'm calling the police. You just assaulted a child." "Karen, I didn't assault anyone. I barely touched her." Other parent, you grabbed her and tried to pull her off the swing. That's assault. Karen looked around and seemed to realize that every single parent at the playground was now staring at her with complete hostility. Some of them had their phones out recording. "Karen, This is ridiculous. I just wanted my baby to swing. Girl's mother. Then take your baby to the toddler swings where they belong. You don't get to put your hands on other people's children. I had already dialed the emergency number and was giving them the location. Karen heard me talking to the dispatcher and her face went white. Karen, you're calling the cops? Are you serious? Me, completely serious. You physically touched someone else's child in an aggressive manner. That's not okay. Karen, fine, forget it. This playground is full of entitled parents anyway. She grabbed her stroller and started storming off toward the parking lot. But the girl's mother wasn't done. Girl's mother, oh no, you're not leaving. You're staying right here until the police arrive. She positioned herself between Karen and the exit path. Two other parents moved to block the other route. Karen, you can't keep me here. That's illegal. Other parent, no. What's illegal is assaulting a child and then trying to flee the scene. Karen tried to push past with her stroller, but the parents didn't budge. She stood there, trapped, growing increasingly agitated as we waited for the police to arrive. When the officers showed up about 10 minutes later, multiple parents gave statements. I showed them the video I'd recorded of Karen pushing the little girl. The girl's mother made it clear she wanted to press charges. Karen tried to claim she'd barely touched the girl and that we were all overreacting, but the video evidence was pretty clear. The officers explained that putting your hands on someone else's child without permission could be considered assault, especially when the parent was present and had explicitly told her not to touch the child. In the end, Karen was cited for assault and disturbing the peace. As the officers escorted her to their vehicle, she was screaming about how unfair it was and how her baby deserved to use the swings. The little girl was shaken but okay. Her mother bought her ice cream from a nearby truck, and gradually the playground returned to normal. My kid finally got their turn on the swings, and we stayed for another hour just to prove that we weren't going to let one terrible person ruin our afternoon. I heard later from another parent who knows someone at the police station that Karen had actually been warned at this same park before for similar behavior. Apparently, this wasn't her first time demanding special treatment for her child and getting aggressive when people didn't comply. Story 5. I've been working as a paramedic for 6 years now. I started as an emergency medical technician right after high school, riding in the back of ambulances, learning how to keep people alive during the worst moments of their lives. After 2 years, I went through paramedic school while working night shifts. The training was brutal, but nothing compared to the actual job. People think being a paramedic is all adrenaline and heroics. Most of it is paperwork, equipment checks, and dealing with people having the worst day of their lives. You see things that stick with you. Car accidents where you know the person won't make it. Kids who stopped breathing. Elderly people who've been on the floor for days because nobody checked on them. You learn to compartmentalize or you burn out fast. The pay is terrible for what we do. I make less than the manager at the fast food place near my apartment. But someone has to do it. When you call 911, we show up. Every single time, no matter what. Last Thursday, we got a call for a cardiac arrest at a shopping center. Male in his 60s, collapsed in a store, not breathing. My partner was driving, lights and sirens going. I was in the back, double-checking our equipment. Cardiac arrests are time-sensitive. Every second counts. Brain damage starts after 4 minutes without oxygen. We pulled up to the hospital 14 minutes later with the patient. We'd gotten his heart beating again, but he needed immediate emergency care. My partner swung the ambulance toward the emergency bay, the designated area right outside the emergency room doors where ambulances unload critical patients. There was a car parked there, a black luxury sedan, sitting right in the middle of the ambulance bay. My partner laid on the horn. The driver was still in the car, a woman on her phone. "Partner, we need her to move now." I jumped out and ran to her window, knocked on it. She looked up, annoyed, and rolled the window down an inch. "Ma'am, you need to move immediately. This is an ambulance bay. We have a critical patient." "Karen, I'm waiting for my mother. She'll be out in a minute." Me, you can't wait here. This is for emergencies only. Move your car right now. Karen, I was here first. Find somewhere else to park. My partner was out now too, opening the back doors of the ambulance. Our patient's heart rhythm was unstable. We needed to get him inside immediately. Partner, lady, move your car or we're calling the cops. Karen, go ahead. I have every right to park here. Me, this is not a parking spot. It's an emergency ambulance bay. We have a man dying in this ambulance. Karen, that's not my problem. My mother is elderly and can't walk far. I'm staying right here. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. We were wasting precious seconds arguing with this woman while our patient was coding in the ambulance. Me, if you don't move in 10 seconds, I'm getting hospital security to tow your car. Karen, you can't tow my car. This is a public area. My partner was already on the radio calling for hospital security and police. Emergency room staff had heard the commotion and came running out. A nurse saw our ambulance blocked and immediately understood. Nurse, ma'am, you need to move now. We have a critical patient. Karen, everyone needs to stop harassing me. I'm not moving. 2 more nurses came out, along with a doctor. We were trying to unload our patient, carrying the stretcher around her car because she refused to move. It added 30 seconds to our time. 30 seconds that could mean the difference between life and death. Doctor, security, get this car out of here. Karen, you can't make me leave. I know my rights. Hospital security arrived with a tow truck driver who was already on site for another call. They hooked up her car while she screamed about lawsuits. She actually got out and tried to stop them from towing it. Security officer, ma'am, step back or you're under arrest. Karen, this is theft. I'm calling my lawyer. We finally got our patient inside. The emergency team took over immediately, rushing him into a trauma bay. We'd done everything we could, but those extra seconds she cost us might have mattered. When we came back out to restock our ambulance, police had arrived. Karen was in handcuffs, still screaming about her rights and harassment. Her car was gone, towed to the impound lot. The officer told us she'd be charged with obstruction of emergency services and reckless endangerment. Her car would cost $500 to get out of impound, plus towing fees and citations. Our patient survived, barely. The doctors said another minute or 2, and the brain damage would have been irreversible. 2 weeks later, I heard through hospital staff that Karen tried to sue the hospital for towing her car. Her lawyer dropped her case immediately once they saw the ambulance camera footage and heard she'd been charged criminally. She ended up with a $2,000 fine and community service. Her mother? She was inside getting a routine prescription refill. Nothing urgent. The woman had blocked an ambulance bay, nearly cost a man his life, all because she didn't want her mother to walk an extra 50 feet from the regular parking lot.